Here's a segment from a recent Gun Talk radio episode. You can listen to all the Gun Talk radio podcasts however you tune in, or check out guntalk.com for more. Hey, we're back with you. Tom Gresham. If you'd like to join us, just give me a call, 866-TALK-GUN or Tom Talk Gun. Hey, what is a large capacity magazine? I would argue that it doesn't exist. I'll fill in the blanks on that in just a little bit. You know, one of the things that I think a lot of people don't really understand or appreciate is that the shooting sports are represented very largely in the Olympics. At one point, I think it may still be true that at least in the summer games, shooting sports are the third largest in terms of different types of shooting events or types of events in the Olympics. Pretty interesting stuff. And of course, a lot of other countries subsidize their athletes. So where do our athletes get their money? How do they train? How does that all come about? Well, joining me right now to talk about that is Bill Dunn from the National Shooting Sports Foundation. Welcome, Bill.
Hey, Tom. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Okay, so give us some update. How does it work for U.S. shooters who want to compete in international events, and specifically, hopefully, they would go to the Olympics?
Yeah, like you were saying, other countries, their programs are funded primarily by the government. And these are countries that a lot of times where gun ownership is basically non-existent or highly restricted. Mm-hmm. But in America, our shooting sports programs through the USA Shooting Team rely on donations. So in recent years, you've seen China, Russia kind of taken the lead in many of the events. Like, for example, in the most recent Olympics, China won the most shooting medals. Russia won the second most, and the United States won the third. And those are two countries that are funded by the government.
And they're countries where the average citizen cannot even own a gun, and there's really no culture or history of competitive shooting.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Well, it goes to the point of when you pour the money in and people can train better, train more, and frankly, they can be subsidized, you can appeal to a larger percentage of the population, because I'm sure there are people in the U.S. who might be able to qualify for the Olympics, might be able to shoot in the Olympics, but never get there simply because we don't have the programs, the widespread programs, and the mechanism to vacuum them into the system.
Yes, exactly. And, you know, the Olympic shooting sports are a little bit different than competing at your local range. The events are more international focused. The rules are a lot different than what you'd shoot at your local shooting range. So like you said, to develop these programs, to develop these shooters into these international sanctioned sports, it takes money. It takes money to train, to hire the coaching staff, and then once the teams are formed, to fund the teams and continue to grow them. And you talk about travel expenses, equipment, paying the coaching staff. There's a lot that goes into it. And in other countries that are getting that from the government, here they rely specifically on donations.
Well, you know, and I'm thinking about you specifically, if you were, for instance, if you shot Olympic trap, bunker trap, there are very few places in the U.S. you can go to shoot bunker trap. There just are not very many ranges like that. Yes,
exactly.
Okay, so what do we do about that? I think you've got an idea here.
Yeah, so NSSF, we're the trade association for the industry, and what we're doing throughout National Shooting Sports Month and then all the way up until the World Championships in October is we've launched a fundraiser, and we're encouraging everybody, companies in the industry. We've seen a lot of good participation so far, but everybody out there, we encourage everybody, like whether it's $10 and whatever you can give. We set up a website at nssf.org/USA Shooting. And our goal is to raise $25,000. We're already halfway there. And you've seen people from all over the country give, and we thank them so much. And, yeah, you just visit that website, nssf.org/USA Shooting, and you know your money's going to a good place, and you know you're supporting a good cause. the shooters that are on these teams really help represent America so well, not only nationally, but in the international spotlight. And we are the top force when it comes to shooting, as you know, when you go to your local range. So let's help these kids. Let's help these kids on the international stage to show them exactly what Americans can continue to do if we are giving them the correct funding.
Okay, NSSF.org/USA Shooting. Go there. One of the things, people may not have an appreciation for, when you are at the top tier of USA Shooting, a lot of these folks, actually, the young people, go and live at the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs, and all they do is shoot. They'll have part-time jobs or even full-time jobs. They're trying to support it. But they have just turned their lives over to the shooting sports and shooting for America, not just in the Olympics, but in World Cups and Pan American Games and events all over the world, because that's how you get to the Olympics. It's a kind of a Byzantine, bizarre system to get there, but they have to be shooting all the time. It's not like you say, well, I'll go shoot a match this month and I'll go shoot another match next month. At that level, you got to be shooting all the time.
Oh, yeah. It's like any other sport. And like you said, that facility out in Colorado Springs is incredible. I've had the opportunity to go out there a few times, and it's pretty awesome to go into that, even just the cafeteria. And I remember I was sitting in line one day, and there's Apollo Ono, the speed skater, standing right next to me. But, all those guys are and girls are functioning at such a high level, and they are practicing nonstop throughout the day. That's their whole life, just like any other sport when you look at the Olympics. Right.
That is what they do. All right, let me give it out again. NSSF.org/USA Shooting, and you can make a donation. I would just say, look, if you're trying to figure it out, $10 helps, but kind of figure out just arbitrarily, at a minimum, whatever a box of ammo costs, that's kind of a good way to go. Just look at what you're paying for a box of ammo today and throw that much in the kitty.
Yeah, that would be great, Tom.
Well, look, I hope people will do that if you want to promote the shooting sports and you want to promote gun rights, because, look, when these youngsters win medals, it helps with the image of responsible shooting, no matter what. So it's very worthwhile.
Yes, indeed.
Bill, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate what you do, and I appreciate the National Shooting Sports Foundation in this effort. Excellent, excellent work. Thank you, sir. Talk to you later. All righty, 866-TALK-GUN. Let me give that out again one more time. NSSF for National Shooting Sports Foundation. NSSF.org/USA Shooting. Jump over there, throw some money in the kitty for these incredible shooters.